I've been a doctor for 47 years now, and I've loved my career. I delivered over 1,000 babies, and I took care of families, as I said, from cradle to grave, and that's all I love. But I can tell you that this is the best work I've ever done.
Really? It's not strict.
Really.
And why is that?
Why is that? It is such an honor to be part of somebody's death, to we have to be able to offer them this control over the end of their lives. It's such an honor to have these conversations with people. I don't know, why have you decided to die now? What makes your life worth living? What do you want to get done before you die? How would you like your death to look? And I'm privileged to be there for the last goodbyes between spouses. I've been together for 15 years. As a doctor, there were times when I couldn't end somebody's suffering, where I had to helplessly watch somebody suffer at the end of life. I studied palliative care and I did my best. I got the people who knew more than I did to help me. But there was still so much suffering at the end of life. And now I can actually end the suffering. And it's just for people who want it. We only work with people who are asking for it, and I ask at the very last minute, "Are you sure this is what you want to do today, now?" And so, yeah.
Yeah. I can see. I didn't realize. So did Canada not have this option prior to 2016?
Correct.
Okay. I had a grandmother who passed away from Alzheimer's, and it was just brutal. It was just brutal. And I had a great uncle who had ALS. And again, brutal, super traumatizing for everybody around them. And so I can definitely see where this can stop a lot of suffering that nobody wants to go through or bring on their family. Who's the average person you think you see who asks for this?
We know, but we've got statistics. We've got national statistics, and I keep my own as well. So we know that the vast majority have cancer, and the average age is 70. So it's typically people who are white, rich, well-educated, used to being in charge of their lives. We get so many, retired doctors and lawyers and business people, the kind of people who are used to, being in control. And when they find out that they've got their stage 4 cancer or their ALS, in some countries it's called motor neuron disease instead of ALS. When they find out that they've got that diagnosis and they see what's coming out, they call them, and that's been the most important change, I think, for our country, is that now when you get that, we're all dying, right? 100% of us. And when you get that awful diagnosis, and it's happened since 2016 to 3 of my close friends, where they got the diagnosis, stage 4 cancer, there's no more treatment available, nothing you can do. They know right away before they do anything else, they know that they have MAID available. And so they call me up and ask about it because they know that when I do. And it just gives them more peace going forward. Each of my friends went ahead and took treatments and took whatever was offered. One has had her MAID, and the other 2 are still doing cancer treatments. But they know that they're going to die of their cancer soon, and they know that they've got control, some, not a lot, but some control. And that's just made such a difference. Now before you face this, you know you're going to have some control over the end of your life if you want it.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. What about the scenario when people are having mental illness and the mental illness is painful enough?
Yes.
What happens to those people?
Exactly. So our law currently excludes anybody for whom the sole underlying medical condition is mental illness. Okay.
Okay.
This happened with the amendment in 2021. They put in the restriction. They gave it a sunset clause, which meant that it expired in 2 years, which was next month. But then just gave an extension for a year.
Okay.
So in 2024, March 17, people will be eligible for psychiatric suffering when that is their sole underlying medical condition, is the psychiatric condition. But we have lots of experience now with concurrent disorders. I mean, lots of people who have both physical and mental illness. And when I first was dealing with this, it was a bit of a struggle because in all my year of practice, if somebody said they wanted to die, I would think, oh, they were depressed. And now I was listening to people who had perfectly logical reasons to say, I want to die, because they had ALS and they had a line in the sand. I'm not going past this line in how much I'm willing to degenerate and become dependent on others. And so I had to figure out, okay, so what do we know about depression and how it can interfere with people's ability to think and make decisions? And of course, I wasn't alone. I had all my colleagues and psychiatrists to consult. And so 7 years later, I have, 47 years of being a doctor, I have a lot of experience with people who have concurrent disorders, serious mental illness plus a physical condition that would make them eligible for an assisted death. And in my research, we are looking now at what's been happening since 2021 when we could help people with the chronic conditions, the ones where they still had a long life expectancy and expectation of suffering for maybe a decade or more. Mm-hmm. And so we have discovered in our research that a majority of these people have serious mental illness. Now, as you can imagine, if you are suffering unbearably from some physical condition for decades, would that make you have mental distress? Yes.
Yes, definitely.
So a lot of it is just secondary. But there also was mental illness that's just concurrent, and the more serious ones, schizoaffective and bipolar with psychosis and personality disorders, the severe ones, and so on. So we have now had quite a bit of experience with concurrent mental disorders where people are suffering terribly from a mental condition, in addition to physical conditions. And so I am facing 2024 with the confidence that we can do our assessments well and help people after that time.